A life lesson. You'll never forget. Advanced level. Hi everyone. Welcome to Learn English with Stories. All levels. To improve your listening, follow these steps. Step 1. Listen to the story without subtitles. If it's too hard, you can turn on the automatic captions. Step 2. Learn new words and expressions with meanings and examples. Step 3. Answer a few questions in the comments to check your understanding. Ready to learn English with us? Let's get started. It was a bright summer morning in Vermont. A little boy named Ethan went to visit his grandfather, who lived on a quiet farm surrounded by tall maple trees and the sweet smell of freshly cut grass. Ethan loved those summer visits. He'd spend hours chasing chickens, helping Grandpa water the garden, and of course, asking a million questions about everything under the sun. One afternoon, while they were sitting on the porch, Ethan turned to his grandfather and said, "Grandpa, when I grow up, I want to be successful. Can you tell me how to do that?" Grandpa smiled, that slow, knowing smile only grandfathers have, and replied, "Well, my boy, that's a fine question. Come with me. I'll show you." They hopped into Grandpa's old pickup truck and drove down the dusty road to a nearby plant nursery. The air smelled of pine and damp soil. The owner, an old friend of Grandpa's, waved from behind a row of ferns. They picked out 2 small saplings, one oak and one maple, both delicate and full of life. Back at the farm, Grandpa handed Ethan a shovel and said, "All right, partner. We're going to plant these little ones, but not in the same place." He planted one tree in a big clay pot and placed it on the porch, sheltered from the wind and rain. Then he took the other tree out to the open field, where the sun shone fiercely and the wind blew freely. When they were done, Grandpa looked at Ethan and asked, "Now tell me, which one do you think will grow stronger?" Ethan thought for a moment, rubbing his chin the way Grandpa did when thinking deeply. "The one in the pot," he said confidently. "It's safe there. No storms, no animals, no danger." Grandpa chuckled softly. "Maybe so," he said. "We'll see." Years passed. Ethan grew taller, went to school, learned new things, and forgot, at least for a while, about the 2 trees. 4 years later, now a young teenager, he returned to Grandpa's farm for another summer. The same porch, the same creaky rocking chair, the same smell of maple trees in the air. As soon as he saw Grandpa, he said, "Grandpa, remember when I asked you how to be successful? You never really told me." Grandpa smiled again. "Didn't I? Well then, let's take a little walk." They went to the porch first. The potted tree was still there, small, fragile, and barely grown. Its leaves trembled even with the slightest breeze. Then they walked out to the field. Ethan stopped in his tracks. Before him stood a magnificent oak tree, tall, proud, and full of life. Its roots dug deep into the earth. Its branches stretched wide, casting a cool shade on the grass below. Grandpa looked at him and asked, "So, which tree do you think is stronger now?" Ethan's eyes widened. "The one outside, of course. But I don't understand, Grandpa. That tree faced storms, strong winds, and heavy rain. How did it survive?" Grandpa placed a hand on his shoulder. "Because of the storms, Ethan. Because of the wind. Every challenge forced its roots to grow deeper, its trunk to grow stronger. The tree didn't just survive. It thrived." He pointed to the potted tree. That one had everything easy. Perfect sunlight, protection, no struggle. But it never had a reason to grow strong. It never needed to. Ethan was quiet for a long moment. Then Grandpa said in that calm, wise voice of his, "Life's a bit like that, my boy. If you're always looking for comfort, you'll never grow beyond the pot. Challenges aren't your enemies. They're your teachers. They shape you. They build you. They give you roots." He smiled, then added with a playful grin, "And besides, what fun is life without a few storms, huh?" Ethan laughed, but he understood. That summer, he didn't just learn how to plant trees. he learned that every difficulty, every mistake, every storm is what helps you stand tall in the end. Moral of the story: the strongest trees grow where the wind blows hardest, and the strongest people do too. Now let's look at some useful expressions from the story. Sapling. It's a young tree. Example 1. The gardener planted a few saplings in the park to replace the old trees that had fallen during the storm. Example 2. The new interns are like saplings. They just need time, care, and guidance to grow into strong professionals. Trembling. Shaking slightly, or a physiologic tremor, is a normal, subtle, and involuntary quivering that most people have. Example 1. Her hands were trembling as she held the letter, afraid of what it might say. Example 2. He was so nervous before his first big presentation that his voice started trembling with emotion. To thrive. To grow or develop successfully, especially under challenging conditions. Example 1. The cactus thrives in the desert where other plants would quickly die. Example 2. Some people thrive under pressure. It pushes them to perform at their absolute best. Gripped the ground. Metaphor for strong roots or stability. Example 1. The tree gripped the ground so firmly that even the strong winds couldn't uproot it. Example 2. After years of moving from city to city, she finally feels like she's gripped the ground and found a place she belongs. Beyond the pot. Metaphorical expression meaning beyond comfort zones. Example 1. The plant couldn't grow any bigger until it was moved beyond the pot. Example 2. If you want to improve your English, you need to go beyond the pot. Step outside your comfort zone and use it in real conversations. Twinkle in his eye. A sign of humor, affection, or wisdom. Example 1. Grandpa looked at me with a twinkle in his eye and said, "You'll understand when you're older." Example 2. Despite being the CEO, she always speaks to her team with kindness, and that unmistakable twinkle in her eye that makes everyone feel valued. Let's check your comprehension. Try to answer these questions in the comments. It's a great way to practice your listening, writing, and comprehension skills. Why did Grandpa choose not to give Ethan a direct answer when he first asked how to become successful? What lesson does the story teach about facing challenges and discomfort in life? How does the metaphor of the trees relate to personal growth and success in real life? Can you think of an example from your own experience? And that's all for today's story. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more fun English stories, and tell us in the comments. See you next time.